All of us reach a point in time where we are depleted and need to somehow find a way to reignite the fire within. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience, where we will venture into the heart of the human spirit. We'll discuss the art of reigniting our passion and strategies to stoke our enthusiasm. And now, here are your hosts, Natalie Davis and Pamela Cass.
And I have a whole new respect and empathy for anyone who's gone through a concussion. I really thought it was like a minor thing, but it's a huge thing. And I have met another coworker that has had a concussion, and he also said he feels very hopeless, like that it's never going to get better, that this is the new norm and we just have to suffer with it. And I was, it's kind of like ADD. It feels very ADD, like a lack of focus, a lot of frustration because it's not clicking, things aren't clicking.
Yeah.
And then basically what's going on is the mind, my understanding, I'm not a doctor. I don't know how this really works, but I could just tell you my own experience.
Mhm.
But basically what's going on is that there is something that is distracting for the brain, and the brain is spending time and energy focused on this distraction, and it can't really spend the energy and time on normal stuff. And also there's like perhaps a lot of inflammation in the brain as well. So inflammation of the nerves and inside the brain. So when I was doing my treatment, we were actually retraining my brain through using like eye therapy. And also we did some, it's called a palindrome, or where basically it's like you hear a sound and then you have to like click a button. So it's like kind of getting the timing right, like telling the brain, like, here's the timing we want to have. And then also like retraining the brain towards focus while doing hyperbaric chamber, PEMF, red light therapy, red lasers. Trying to think, I did a whole like cleanse. I did a whole cleanse and different supplements as well. So all of those things together, my doctor called it a recipe. I was like, well, what was it that helped? And he's like, no, it's a recipe. The
All of
whole
it.
thing, you have to do it
Yes.
all. And you can't just do one. And I was like, okay. I was like, because I really did love a hyperbaric. I was like, this is amazing. I would love a hyperbaric.
Yeah.
Um, but it was the recipe, doing it all together under the supervision of my awesome functional medicine doctor. And that's how I got healed. I couldn't be more thankful because I am back to my normal self. It was like the lights went on.
Yeah.
It was like one day I couldn't stay at the computer for 4 hours at a time. And then the next day I was like, I could stay here all day. You
Oh,
know? Yeah.
So not a dimmer switch, actually just flipped right back on.
switch.
Boom. It was on.
Yes.
It's like something's different.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
if you had not, gone through all of those steps, is that change that you saw from the concussion, is that something that becomes permanent? Is that just the new way the brain kind of operates, or does it ever heal itself? Did you do any research on that? I'm
That's
just
a good question. My neurologist said that eventually my brain would have healed itself.
okay.
I don't know if I really believe
Yeah.
that because my coworker is like 5+ years past and he's still not at the
Oh,
normal, like back to his old self.
yeah.
So,
I mean, just thinking now of all these, like my kids played sports, my daughter had a concussion at one point, and I just think about all these people that maybe just think that, oh, this is just the way it is. I just have to deal with this. And yet there actually is something that can be done if it's identified right away, I'm assuming.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
I worry about that all the time. Like all these potentially there is a misdiagnosis going on for people, or perhaps there's healing that they don't even know exists. And so whenever someone tells me like I got a concussion, I'm like, okay, like please
Yeah.
pay attention to your symptoms, even a week after, 10 weeks after, whatever. And just if anything does seem out of place, like just know that there is healing and
Yeah.
that I can connect you to someone who will heal you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want anyone to have to suffer unnecessarily when they could be
Yeah.
healed.
So yeah, because they may think that, oh, this is just the way it is now. They may
Mhm.
not think there is hope. And so I love it. And maybe we can supply that information in the show notes for those doctors that people, if they suspect it or whatever, they could reach out and
Mhm.
to these doctors.
Yeah.
'Cause
One of the things that really helped is the objective tests that they did,
yeah,
because again, it's internal. You can't see
yeah,
what's suffering. You can't, it's not like a broken arm. You're like, oh, of course your arm's broken. Like
yeah.
it's so internal. Like nobody really understands what's going on in your head.
Mhm.
So it was like for me, I was like, is this real? Is it real? Like there's so many so much messages like, is this real? Am I making this up? Like what's going on? And that was a whole loop, and I'm trying to find peace of mind over here. And that loop just could not go away. And then finally they did objective tests. They did a brain map on me,
Okay.
and they did an eye test to see like how did my eyes move? Like was my eyes reacting to like stimuli normally? They did another eye, a pupil exam to see like how quickly my pupil expanded and went down.
Mhm.
And then also those the metronome where I would like
Yeah.
hit a button with the sound. Those numbers dramatically improved over time. Like you can see
Yeah.
this trajectory of improvement.
Hmm.
So I asked him, I was like, hey, I just have this loop in my head that this isn't real and that this is my new self. And he's like, okay, here's an objective test. We did a brain map on you. We compared it to hundreds of thousands of other people. And yes, you have a traumatic brain injury. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. It's not in my brain and there is healing and I just need to commit, which by the way, it was 4 hours every week, which was actually like 8 hours because I have to drive there and I got to go
Hmm.
back. So it was
Yeah.
a huge chunk of my schedule, but I committed and did it all. And I'm incredibly grateful to be here today with
Yes.
my full focus. Yeah.
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 Wow. Well, I know the kids in sports at the beginning of the season, they would do
Mhm.
testing on the kids. And then if they had any thoughts of a concussion, they got tested to, and matched them. Like, how different is it from the original test at the
Mhm.
beginning of the season compared to you just got hit in the head? What does it look like? And it was kind of their concussion protocol. And then if there was any thought of it at all, they were benched and went home. So yeah,
That
so
that that gives me some peace of mind as my
yeah,
little heart, too. It's like, thank gosh they're looking out for these
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we've come a long way
Hmm.
because I mean I don't think we really knew much about it when I was growing up. I'm much
No.
older than you
Yeah.
guys. I mean we
Yeah.
don't know nothing
This
about
generation is getting that. Our generation didn't get any type of post-concussion testing. It was like,
it.
dust it off, you're
You're
fine.
fine.
Go back in and
Right.
play. Yeah.
Get some water out of
Yes.
the hose, you'll be fine. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Which is unfortunate because now I'm thinking like, gosh, all of the people
Yeah.
that played sports or even just, had accidents and concussions just in their own recreational lifestyle, right? If it's outdoor sports and things of that nature, individuals that have suffered from a concussion and have these post-concussion symptoms that you reference, and they just chalk it up as being the new normal. Um, or that they'll shake it off in the next couple of weeks, right? And I think sometimes people just think, oh, well, I'll get better. Yes, I hit my head or I injured my head and it'll get better here in the next couple of weeks. And then the next couple of weeks becomes like the
Normal.
individual you mentioned, 5 years. And it's like, no, this is
And
just
they
how
just are used
I
to it.
am.
And then they just are like,
Yeah.
well, this is just the way it is. And then they don't even
Yeah.
notice that it's different anymore because it's just
Yeah.
become something that's patterned. So, wow. So I think I love that you share that story because I think that's a powerful story for people to hear because I didn't know anything about, I mean, I knew about concussions and yeah, you're supposed to stay in a dark room for like 2 weeks and not do anything on your computer, but that's about the extent of what I knew about it. So it makes so much more sense. And there's hope if it does happen. It's going to take time to heal, just like a bone takes time to heal and every other injury that we get.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I felt hopeless for
Yeah.
a while, you know,
Yeah.
about it, like just not being able to change, you know. And I was like, well, what kind of treatment are you gonna do? Like what, just really just didn't feel like there was gonna be a real way out, but there is. So
Yeah.
I
There's,
found it.
Were you skeptical while you were going through the treatments as well?
100%. I
yeah.
was like, I'm trusting you. And I loved this doctor too, because he's like, look, you're not going to be here forever. You're going to be here for 6, 8 weeks, and then you're out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what? I was like, that confidence
Yeah.
made me trust him. I was like, okay, all right. You think I'm just gonna be here for 6 to 8 weeks? Because every doctor, like every physical therapist, it feels like, you're here for a long time. You're here,
Yes.
you know,
No,
like,
no. Well, it just shows you the healing ability of our brains.
Yeah.
So it's power there if you follow the recipe that he gave you.
exactly. Yeah, that's even better to realize that we can basically change so much about our brains in that short period of time,
Yeah.
with dedication and consistency,
Yeah.
so.
Have
Beautiful.
you carried on any of the treatments, like the red light therapy or anything like that? You have
Yes. Yeah,
just
I
out of
have a red
pure
light.
enjoyment, not for therapy.
I have a red light therapy. Definitely research for yourself, like what red light
Yes.
therapy can do. But for
Yes.
myself, like I like it. I have one at home now, and I also have a PEMF, which is the pulse electromagnetic mat, and
Yeah.
basically, it sends electric magnetic pulsing. So it's very healing. It helps with inflammation. Helps with red blood cell restoration. Look it up. It's kind of interesting. There's a lot of like, my doctor said there's a lot of like not so good mats out there that
Mm.
are totally bogus, but then there
Yes.
are some great ones out there that are real. So I have what he told me was a good one, and I do that. And
Do, So we don't endorse this product. We're not affiliated with the product, but
yes.
I would love to hear because I've actually been on the hunt for a mat for about a week and a half now. And it's interesting because there's a range, right? You can get one for $50 or you can get one for $4,000. And I'm like, well, which one is the one that you need to get?
Yes, exactly. I was like, I'm gonna buy one, and he's like, okay. And I was like, well, how much is that mat over there? And he's like, $25,000.
Oh,
I'm
never
Exactly.
like,
mind. Not that Matt.
okay, I guess I'm not
Or
gonna get that
discount since
one.
it's used.
Yeah, I
It
don't need a
looks,
medical grade one. I just need something that I can operate at home.
Yes, exactly.
yeah. I was like, oh, that thing, it doesn't look that expensive.
No.
But yeah, he said it's Omni Pimp is the one that he likes,
Oh,
and they're like
depends. Okay.
$200.
Okay.
So, you know.
Where can you get those?
Online. Yep.
Amazon.
I
Amazon.
love it.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
Omni.
tag it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Definitely not endorsing. I have nothing to do with
No.
them.
Yeah.
But at home, you like a way to treat yourself for and heal, a natural way of healing, why not try it?
And
Yeah.
then the red light therapy, did he give you recommendations for that as well, for which one to use?
He didn't give me, he has one, like he has a little pad that you can buy at his office. It was $200.
Mhm.
But I decided to like, do a little bit of research, and I went to like Andrew Huberman's link, and I found it's called Joov, Joov,
Okay.
and it's a pretty pricey little tool there, but um it's at home, so I can use it as much as I
Yeah,
want, which
whenever.
is nice. But you can also go see my doctor, and you can get all this done real quick. And I
Yeah.
think it's pretty affordable. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of places that I think tanning salons do red
hmm
light therapy now too. They actually have red
hmm
light therapy machines. I don't know how good they are, but you see it a lot now.
hmm
Oh,
yeah, it's a thing.
awesome.
Well, and I
I
think it's all relative, Jessica, when you
suppose.
say like it's expensive. I've started to have that realization. I think the closer you get to, the fourth quarter in life and looking at the tail end
Yeah.
of life and what that looks like, we can say that it's pricey. It's a one-time investment of a couple $1,000s, but if you know that that's going to really help in terms of longevity and your ability to have like a healthy fourth quarter lifestyle, where you're not in pain and you're not suffering, I feel like it's worth the investment. But that's me, my journey. That's my preference. That I'm not telling anyone what to do. Invest in what you want to invest in, research what you need to research to figure
Yeah.
it out.
Just
hmm
when we're young, we're pretty rough on our bodies because we don't think about it. We think
Because we're
be like
invincible.
it's gonna be like this forever. But then when you get to a certain age, as I am, it's you think a lot differently, and I am more willing now to invest in my body and my mind, my spirit, all that stuff because it's we got one. We only
We
get
only
one.
have one.
It's not like I can go
Exactly.
trade it in for a newer, I mean, it'd be nice, trade it in for a new, younger model. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I align with that as well. It's just important like to focus on health and wellness. Like I do all of the normal things that everyone else may do or may not, but I focus on sleep, water,
Yes.
nutrition. I've recently cut out all meat that I don't know where it comes from.
Mm,
So I buy farmed raised meat, local Colorado meat,
Nice.
and I have it delivered. I found a delivery service. So I have very much like invested in like health, nutrition, a lot of vegetables, a lot of greens. I now cook basically every single meal because when you go out, like you don't know where that meat came from,
yes.
So it's definitely changed my life, and I think that it makes my life a little slower. It makes my life a little bit more relaxed in some ways. So I'm happy with it. And maybe I hope it's also helping my body, helping my body show up every day. Just like you said, like, is it pricey or is it really in the long run, like you are going down the lower expense route, not
Yes.
getting sick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because those bills are going to be far
hmm
than a couple thousand
Oh
dollars.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
hmm
Yeah.
Medical costs have continued to skyrocket, and I'm appalled every time I hear a friend that goes through medical treatment and the cost of treatment, prescriptions that are, tens of thousands of dollars per month. It just blows my mind. So yes, if you're really nurturing and taking care of your body,
Yeah.
I feel that the payoff is there.
Yeah.
hmm That
Yeah.
goes back to the stress thing, right? And the
Yes.
anxiety thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I research, it's like stress is kind of the start it's like the gateway, it's like the entry point, it seems like, of so many different illnesses. I mean, it makes sense because our body's flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. The cortisol could slow down your gut, it slows down everything.
Yes.
So our body isn't normal going to be able to do the normal things when you're stressed out. So your body isn't able to nurture itself, heal itself. And so that makes so much more sense. So I'm like, I want to live a low stress life,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? So that
Yes.
I can kind of cut off any future diseases that don't necessarily have to happen.
I
Yeah.
love that is such a powerful thing for people to hear because I think if you can do an audit of your life, what are the areas of your life that are bringing you stress? Could be
Mhm.
people, could
Yes.
be a job, it could be the news, it could be whatever. And are there ways that you can limit or remove those things from your life so that, or find other ways, whether it's meditation or whatever it is, to kind of make sure that you're taking care of that stress. Because I know that that's what caused my cancer was 23 years of just high stress. And so it does show up in your body different ways. And so
Mhm.
just being aware of it, I think is huge. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think taking a stress audit is a great idea, Pam. Like, do
Exactly.
you have a stress audit? Yes,
Let's
I've
do an
done it.
audit, people. Where is
Uh-huh.
it showing up in your world right now?
Well, Jessica
Yes.
has one. Isn't that part of your brain training program, correct? Is it? I feel that you took us through a practice, an audit. I feel that we did.
Well, we do in the beginning, we do like a grounding exercise where we start to feel any sort of tension in our body and like let it go. So there's that part. And then also recognizing any thoughts that could be anxiety provoking and stimulating that amygdala to be sending out those different hormones in the body. So definitely those are some ways that we address it in the brain training.
Yeah.
And I think we have to slow down long enough to self-reflect and do our self-reflections. And we have to practice catching thoughts. Like just catch a thought. Like I talk about in that brain training that there was a thought running through my brain so fast that I couldn't find it for I mean I was in therapy myself for so long and I never found this thought. But when I was slowing down and focusing, I caught it finally and it this thought had been changing how I lived my life.
Mm,
This has been a factor in like my daily routine, my experiences with other people, my relationships, and travel and everything. It was like infiltrating everywhere. And it's just so wild that I had never caught it. Like you have to slow down long enough to catch your thoughts.
yeah.
Because some of them are just moving so fast you can't even sense them sometimes.
Hmm.
So once I did realize what this thought was, I was like, that is totally bogus. It's
Yeah.
not even real.
Yeah.
And I don't have to live according to this thought anymore. Like, so, and it's just maybe it's a sign of where I was, how I was raised, but I was worried about food and water. I was worried that there was not going to be any food or any water.
Wow.
And, um, I realized I was like, you know what? I live in civilization. Like there's literally food and water within a half mile of me at all times,
Mm,
like usually, right? So I do not need to be worried about this. But that thought had been changing the way that I prepared for my day and what I was comfortable with, like for an adventure or for fun or like where I would want to go with my, boyfriends or whatever. It's like, what? Like
yeah.
what? This is so not real. And so I encourage everyone to like slow down. And that was stressful. That was stress in my life. And it was coming through so fast I didn't even catch it. So we got to slow down long enough to catch our thoughts, is what I'd say.
Yeah. But we live in such a hustle culture
Hmm.
that we're just like, oh, I gotta do more, I gotta do more, I gotta do more. And so it's very hard. And I don't know about anybody else, but it's not like that anymore. But there used to be a time where when I did stop, I was felt guilty. I was like, oh, I need to be doing something. Like I can't just sit here. Like what are people gonna think? And so it's like I felt like I had to keep going. Now I'm much more aware of it. And I'm like, nope, just going to
Yeah.
be quiet. And those thoughts that come up, I mean, those can be like things that we heard from our parents. You know, they can be so deep seated that we don't even realize. And whether that's our relationship with money, with food, with shelter, with safety, with relationships, I mean, it could show up in so many different areas of our life, and we're not even aware of it. I
Hmm.
know my coach had once asked me, what patterns are you seeing in certain things? And once you start to like stop and think of what are the patterns that keep showing up, not good ones, then you can start to unravel it a little bit and think, okay, why am I feeling like I'm not going to have food and shelter? Like what is that from? Why does this pattern keep coming up? So yeah, crazy. Wow.
Hmm.
This has been amazing. I've learned, I went through your mind training thing, brain training thing, and I learned a whole bunch of new stuff. This is amazing.
Yes. Thanks, Pam. I echo what you're saying too. I totally get what you're saying and I agree. Like, wow, we've got to slow down.
Yeah. Life
Amazing.
is, I heard something the other day where when we're so focused on the outcome, it never works out. But if we stop focusing on it, we get to be a participant in our life. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, that is such a powerful thing. Because, yeah, if we're so focused on what's here, we're not participating in our actual life. And how beautiful would it be to actually be a participant, like be here, fully present, and be a part of it. We get to write the own journey, but if we're focusing on that, we're not. We're just allowing everything else to kind of guide us.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah. That's a really good nugget to sit with.
Mm,
100%. I love that because you're more present and you're going to be part of the story. You're not predicting the story in some way.
exactly, exactly. So I love it. Anything else for our listeners before we finish today?
Not really. I mean, you can follow me on
Yeah,
Instagram, I guess. Low Stress Jess Home Loans. Send out some content. I try to post things about living with joy. I try to post things about mortgages and dogs and community events. So definitely would, if anyone wants to follow me for that, great.
awesome.
No, I hope I could be of any help to anyone.
Yeah, this is amazing.
It was. And I'll let you all know, she doesn't try to do those things. She absolutely does them. So you're going to
Yes.
get that there.
Yeah.
I know that you said that you try to post things about those, and you absolutely knock it out of the park. I think that what you share is so valuable. And we've had the opportunity to work together, and it is not just a tagline. If you are in the market for a home loan, or just to have a conversation about the process, that's exactly what Jessica has as a process. And it is thorough. And the key thing that you said, it's empowering to the borrower, the person that's looking to make that purchase, because they know exactly what's happening and what's coming up next. There are not any surprises, and you are definitely readily available to answer questions. So if you're looking for that side, you absolutely can reach out to her and get that. But if you're wanting those nuggets to uh, implement and reflect on in terms of living with joy, and in love, I think that's the piece. It's having love, showing up as love. She offers that as well. So thank you. This has been an absolute pleasure, Jessica. I appreciate it.
I,
It's
I
so much
couldn't think
fun.
of a better way to end a week.
I know. I know.
Perfect going into the weekend.
Well, you know what? I may need to do the hypnotherapy session because I just wrote down 3 things that I need to go purchase, and I don't know if they're impulse buys or if I've done the reflection that I
Um,
really need to buy them. So
so I'm thinking I know the things that you have on your list are probably on my pad too. So,
exactly, exactly. I need to make some purchases, but it's given me clarity, so I appreciate that. No, this is the perfect way to end the week. Thank
yeah,
you, thank you, thank you for taking the time out to join us.
yeah,
Thank you all. Thank you so much. I,
yeah,
I love you so much, all
yeah.
of both of you. You're just amazing little bright, shining stars in my world. So yeah, I just love you.
Well,
I
the
feel the
feeling is
same.
mutual. Feeling is very
Exactly.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Love and
Well,
adore.
thank you, Jessica. And for our listeners, we will make sure that we tag the resources that were referenced today in the show notes so that you can go and check them out. But as Jessica mentioned, we are not trained medical professionals. So seek medical advice if you are going to implement something new that's going to impact your health into your life. And if you want to just find out what's going on in the world of Reignite Resilience, make sure to head on over to reigniteresilience.com. Check out our Think Letter. It is released every Saturday morning, gives you some fabulous reading material and insight to kick off a strong weekend, give you things and nuggets that you need to continue through the weekend. So check that out as well. Until next time, we will see you all soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today on the Reignite Resilience podcast. We hope you had some aha moments and learned a few new real-life ideas to fuel the flames of passion. Please subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like or download your favorite episodes, and of course, share with your friends and family. We look forward to seeing you again next time on Reignite Resilience.